Welcome to this edition of Wealth Without Borders podcast. And today I'm delighted to have with me Sophie De Meester and Art Dicker. Welcome to the podcast, Sophie and Art.
Thank you.
Thanks, Howard, for having us.
And whereabouts are you guys in the world, and what's the weather like today?
We're both in Shanghai, and right now the weather is horrible. It's raining. It's been raining for about 24 hours.
Yeah, I know. I'm in Shanghai too, looking at a grey sky out here. But we're going to brighten up people's lives in 8 minutes because today's very unusual. We've got a double act in Sophie and Art who are going to answer questions alternately. And for those of you who don't know Sophie, she's the director of Acclime China, and she co-manages the team and focuses on maintaining strong client relationships. And over the several years she's worked in China, she's built extensive experience advising foreign companies on tax compliance for various cross-border operations. And she specializes in intercompany transactions and compliance. And then I'm bowing down beneath her linguistic skills here because she's fluent in Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, English, and Mandarin. So goodness me, I'm looking forward to a multilingual experience. And then Art has... yeah, it's great. I love language. And then Art has over 13 years experience in China, predominantly on the China and US venture capital financings and cross-border M&A. And he's also advised many US technology, manufacturing, and consumer companies on structuring their investments and operations in China. Then Art is also a bit of a linguist because he's a speaker in both English and Chinese on cross-border investing at top-tier universities in China and industry conferences. And he's also the founder and co-host of the China Business Law podcast. So I'm really looking forward to this podcast. The title is Advising Foreign Companies on Risk in China. As you know, guys, it's 8 questions in 8 minutes. So are you ready for the challenge?
We're ready.
Very ready.
Fantastic. So 8 minutes to go. Question number 1, who's your ideal client?
Right, so I'll take this one, Howard. So I think for us, both of us, it's someone who listens, and it's not like listen as we're scolding a child kind of listen. It's listen who they're not just coming in to us, whether it's an accounting question or legal question, with a predisposed answer that they want us to give them. They're not looking us to give them an answer that fits into what they want. They're open-minded. So someone who listens is a kind of client that's easy to work with.
Fantastic. 7 minutes 24 to go. Question number 2. What's the main problem that you solve?
I think the main issue and the main problem we help people with is reducing their risk in different ways. So we let our clients do their business, do what they're good at, focus on what they should be focusing at, which is their business, while we take care of the more, you can say sometimes even more boring stuff on the back end for them to make sure that they are compliant as they can be, mitigating their risk, whether it be different types of legal risk, contractual issues, accounting issues, tax issues they might be dealing with, so that we focus on all of that to take that off their mind so that they can fully focus on the business part.
Great. And 6 minutes 22 remaining. I'm guessing it's over to you, Art. Question number 3. What are the typical symptoms people experience who have these risk-related problems?
Sure. Yeah. So when you're thinking about risk, it's going back to the initial question too. It's a lot of times the client comes in and wants kind of a yes or no answer. It's basically, for example, if it's a legal question, it's am I doing something illegal? Is what I'm doing legal? And especially in China, as most people who've lived here know, there's never a clear black and white answer of what is quote legal and what is quote illegal. Risk, as Sophie is talking about, is the spectrum of how much risk do you want to take versus, how much reward, let's say, for the business you're trying to get, or what you're personally comfortable with, or your investors are comfortable with, and so forth. Everyone has a different risk profile, and risk is a moving thing, and it's not clear black and white, yes or no. So that's what I think we a lot of times have to get our clients comfortable with. They just want a robotic answer. Am I doing something? Is this legal or not? And it's never that simple.
Right. So yes, shades of grey define China in many respects. So 5 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. Question number 4. What are the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to solve this risk-reward related problems?
I think everybody knows, if you say lawyer, you say it's money. Yeah. It's expensive. So sometimes clients can be a little too cost focused, which maybe short term is good for their cash flow, but long term can end up costing more. So of course you should look at your cost, and you should not just throw out money out the window at different advisors, but to a certain extent you should be able to spend some money on it, because we see the clients that come back to us after not having done that, the trouble they get into, it costs so much more than getting it right from the beginning.
Right.
So that's often, I think, the too focus can be too much cost focus.
Right. Got you. Okay, so 3 minutes 54 remaining. Question number 5. What's one valuable free action that the people checking out the podcast today can implement that will help them solve some of that problem?
Well, I think don't be afraid to talk to us or any advisors that you have, and leave your assumptions at home. We are expensive sometimes. It depends how much help you need. We can often solve problems pretty quickly and pretty efficiently, and it's not in our nature to, despite our reputation, maybe of lawyers, maybe even more than accountants, of wanting to charge and charge and charge. We genuinely want to solve clients' problems. So I don't think you should be scared to reach out to an advisor, any kind of advisor, professional advisor, earlier rather than later, and assume that it's going to cost you so much. We'll always give you a quote. We'll always give you an estimate of how much it's going to cost, and we'll give you usually a free initial assessment of whether you need our help or not. So there's not too much harm in reaching out to someone in the first place to give you a very high level feedback.
Fantastic. And we'll put your contact information into the podcast. And there's just 2 minutes 40 remaining. Question number 6. What's one valuable free resource you can direct people to that will further help with that problem?
Well, we all have our best friend Google. But apart from that one, we try to regularly post things on our website, on LinkedIn, and so on, so that our clients and the people who are connected with us, they can go in and they can get some free advice there. And like Art just said, we're always willing to talk to new clients or new potential clients. And we're also very willing to say, no, you don't need our help right now, if that is the true answer to give to people.
Fantastic. And we'll put, again, those links into the podcast. It's 1 minute 50 remaining. Question number 7. What concept or book or program or talk has been most influential in your experience? I guess Art, right?
Yeah. I apologize, I'm blanking on the author at the moment, but the book is called Trusted Advisor. And it's one of the best books I've ever read. And it's a book that's takes you through how to understand your clients. So for any advisors out there listening to this, it's about how to. Oftentimes, professionals like us come across to new clients and talk about how great we are, all the famous cases we've done, and so forth. But actually, really, what the client wants to know is that you're listening to me and you're understanding my problem, and you are patiently. You are taking the time to give me something that I can use, and you're not just giving me a cookie cutter answer. So a lot of times advisors make it more about themselves and the client in that initial conversation, and that turns a lot of people off. So a little more EQ perhaps in that sense can go a long way.
Fantastic. And I know that book, and I've also forgotten the author. Just 34 seconds remaining. Question number 8. What's the one question I should have asked you that you feel will give great value to our audience?
Yeah, I think we could both say real quickly, why hire us as foreigners to help you with your China problems? I think in accounting and legal. I mean, for legal, I think it goes back to the fact there's a lot of gray area, and you have to navigate that both with what you're comfortable from your home country and what you can do here. And so foreigners can bridge that gap, I think.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going to have to end it there. And Sophie, I'm so sorry, because I think you were going to give us a fabulous answer in 7 languages. But
Very fabulous.
I just encourage people to reach out to both of you and find out more about you. And you are indeed trusted advisors, and you've brought such massive value in a very, very short time. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Howard, for having us.
Thank you, Howard, for inviting.
Many thanks for checking out Wealth Without Borders podcast. I'd love you to head over to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a review. And if you'd be kind enough to do that, I would really appreciate it. And then if you want to know more about what I do, check out wealthwithoutborders.net.